Welcome back everyone, and it's time to go balls deep! Today we are discussing a massive topic in the Attack on Titan community regarding Historia's baby. Those of you that have been watching our AOT monthly chapter analysis, you would know for quite some time that we have been speculating Eren's role with Ymir Fritz, the original founding Titan. That ultimately the ending of the show will be the birth of Historia's child and Eren revealing his perspective of his master plan to bring a baby into the world with the true freedom that he has always sought and pushed forward for. However, before I go into detail, I will state that this contains massive spoilers, and I want to give a shout out and thank you to Neathorn Ballard for an amazing post that I'll link in the description. You did top tier analysis. Now before I begin, I do want to say that I'm just a messenger. Please don't get angry Mikasa and Eren shippers. Please don't shoot me or rip me apart. I beg everyone, let's keep this civil. I don't know if that's possible. But anyway, in this video, I will be focusing on explaining why Eren is the father to Historia's baby, as I will go into detail for the arguments that make sense that he would make Historia pregnant for the betterment of the world to gain true freedom from the curse of Ymir and constant war regarding the Titans. Now, this relationship isn't only objectively based, because there is also strong evidence that Eren and Historia could have romantic feelings for each other, as thematically it would make a lot of sense. For example, Historia is dubbed the worst girl in the world, whilst Eren has been labelled the worst boy in the world. They both can relate with one another on a number of experiences and feelings. Eren even admits that Historia is the one that saved him from his nihilism and defeatist attitude. However, I will go into detail regarding this matter later on, so make sure that you stick around till the end of the video to understand the bigger picture. Also, don't worry Eren and Mikasa shippers, I got your back as well. I will do a follow-up analysis regarding Mikasa's relationship with Eren next week, explaining their relationship romantically as well and where it stands. So if you are interested in that topic, I highly suggest that you support us by hitting the notification bell for the channel and like the video. That way you are showing interest and letting us know. So let's get everyone on the same page to understand why Historia would want a baby in the first place. Essentially, for Zeke's 50 years euthanization plan to work, she needed to keep giving birth to royal-blooded children so that they could inherit the Beast Titan in order to let the founding Titan holder be able to control the rumbling. This would prevent the world from attacking Paradise as a result. However, the officials would have fed Zeke to Historia if she wasn't pregnant, since they don't trust him and rather give it to someone that is part of Paradise. A government official speculates that Historia got pregnant in order to protect Zeke from being eaten by her, since the baby would die if Historia is turned into a Titan, right? Eren and the others, such as Yelena, needed Zeke alive for him to execute his sterilization plan. Historia getting pregnant conveniently ruined the plans, thus indicating it might have been orchestrated. In the latest Attack on Titan manga chapters, we know Eren used Zeke for his own rumbling and master plan. He even admitted this to Yelena, that he will only be working with Zeke as a facade and showing face, because secretly he had his own mission. Eren needed Zeke alive to execute his plan, as he knew he could manipulate him because they are brothers, and Zeke would believe Eren had changed his ways to agree with his ideology. So if Zeke were to die, then Eren's plan to betray him would have also failed, therefore making his master plan not work as well. He wouldn't be able to destroy the curse of Ymir. So at this point of time, we do not have an official reason why Historia is pregnant, but Yelena saying that the pregnancy was a blessing implies that it was something unexpected and she didn't have knowledge of. So this points and foreshadows towards again that Eren is involved and made this happen. A lot of the Attack on Titan community believe at this point of time that Historia's baby will be the reincarnation of Ymir Fritz, or it could also be the first baby that doesn't have the curse us anymore. This is because Armin states in chapter 137 that Ymir has gathered all the Eldians because she wants something from them. Eren also stated this when he first met her, stating that Ymir has been waiting for him this whole time, as he believes it's a right for being born into this world. Ymir Fritz has chosen him for this very reason. Eren has the memories of the future due to the attack Titan. He admits himself that he is following the path and there's nothing he can really do to change it. So if Eren foresaw in the future that the first baby born with true freedom would be Historias, he would make sure that Historia became pregnant, right? Basic logic. So the final panel of the manga, it was already revealed by Isayama, the creator of Attack on Titan, in November 2018, showcasing a man with long hair just like Eren and saying to the child, "You are now free." In chapter 136, Historia is shown to be giving birth so conveniently at the time of Eren's rumbling being activated. It cannot all be a coincidence. According to the author of Attack on Titan, the final panel will have the man stating "You are free." So thematically, this connects to Eren in a lot of ways. He is the main protagonist that has been fighting for this right his entire life. And if it is indeed Ymir Fritz, that would explain Attack on Titan chapter 137 perfectly, that Ymir Fritz is free from the realm of the paths and prison. Ymir wants something from her ancestors, and it could be the chance to live a normal life with parents that love her. For thousands and thousands of years, she has been a slave and stuck in a world that she built due to the harsh environment and treatment she received in her life beforehand. Historia will likely call her baby Ymir to pay homage to her best friend that was of the same name and died. We have to put our critical thinking caps on right now. Why would the writer Isayama put the birth of Historia's baby in the critical moments of the finale whilst the rumbling is going on in the beginning of chapter 134? The obvious reason that stands out to me is because the baby and Historia are heavily connected to the reasoning behind why Eren would do the rumbling in the first place. This is because in chapter 133, it was revealed to us that Eren will continue pushing forward no matter what. He informs the allies he doesn't want to speak and that he will give them the freedom to fight for the freedom of the world. However, he will continue with Ymir with their unbreakable conviction. It then proceeds to show the rumbling destroying the world and killing the old, while something new of Eren is being born, symbolically showing his unbreakable conviction of moving forward being manifested and the price he is willing to pay. Now let's move on to more pieces of evidence. The biggest reason Eren is the father to Historia's baby is because she got pregnant before Eren decided to leave for Mali. That means that he was around to do the deed. He had time to go balls deep essentially.
Weird.
Wait, like, yo, that was uncalled for. Yo, edit that out.
Nope.
Pixies mentions to Yelena that Eren has been taking a lot of unauthorized actions lately. Floch.
Bruh, this ain't even a Japanese word and you messing up this bad. What the hell?
English, motherfucker. Do you speak it?
Somehow got assigned to be her god, and her lodgings were located only a few kilometers away from Eren's home, making it possible to contact him. Therefore, secret information of the leaders got leaked. We then understand later that Eren used these two characters to relay his plan and this secret information to what he actually desires. Eren learns of Yelena's plans and what the military were trying to do 10 months ago, and he informed Floch and Historia. So this would obviously influence his actions, right? He would make Historia pregnant to protect her and achieve his master plan to break the curse of Ymir his own way rather than Zeke's. In the Attack on Titan timeline, this would be around 10 months ago, and in Japan, a pregnancy is counted as 10 months long rather than 9 months due to how they calculate their trimesters. However, Eren responded by saying, "I know. The only way to put a final end to the cycle of revenge born from hate is to bury that history and the civilization that created it." And even later on, we learned that Eren is willing to delete Historia's memories for the plan that he's about to do. He wants to protect her at all costs for a certain reason. But going back to the point, we also know Historia lied about when she got pregnant to the others. This is because Levi and the others thought that she still had a few months left before giving birth, but then she went into labor only around 3 days later. Historia would lie to everyone else only if she knew of a greater plan. The only character that we know has a greater plan and intentions than everyone else is Eren. So this pretty much confirms once again that Eren was in direct communications with Historia multiple times, and he could have influenced Historia's decision to get pregnant as well as the fact that they have romantic feelings for each other. Another obvious reason why Historia lied is because she cannot let everyone know that Eren is the father, nor can she disclose their relationship because Eren was planning a coup d'etat. As I said earlier, Historia would have to create a facade just like Eren did with Zeke, and this is why the farmer is presented as this so-called shoo-in father. For example, take a look at chapter 108. The one who asks Historia to come into contact with the farmer looks a lot like Eren. Think about it. Why would it be the farmer if Historia is visibly emotionless and upset and has this sad expression whenever he's around? Historia doesn't even bother marrying the farmer. She of all people would know the hardships of an illegitimate child. Now this is because she knows the truth, whilst the farmer is just a ruse to show appearances to the others. The farmer states, "You need to take better care of yourself, Historia," and only has a few panels here and there with no development at all. The only justified means in writing for him to be the father would be for a massive plot twist that will blow our minds. However, with 2 chapters left, this seems very unlikely. Historia would resent the farmer for many reasons, and he would end up saying something like this because of that. She is suffering from the many burdens with this pregnancy and having the information that she knows. Furthermore, another sign is seen in chapter 122 regarding if Ymir is indeed the child being reborn by Historia. We see a short flashback of Historia talking about Ymir Fritz before her tragic past is shown with King Fritz with all her suffering and a failed life. A young Historia, funnily enough, states that she thinks Ymir Fritz is girlish and says that she likes her because she's kind and always thinking of others, instead of the opposite where people think she's the devil. Now since we know Ymir Fritz is this all-powerful original founder that had access to every Eldian this whole time, it now makes sense why she would pick Eren and Historia, right? They both have the reasons and attributes that can make her wish come true that Armin mentioned in chapter 137, that she wants something from them. Attack on Titan has made it pretty clear that Eren and Historia share a special bond. This was developed in the Uprising arc when they started to get to know each other. For example, they both have suffered similar hardships and made decisions that correlate. Eren got saved at his lowest psychological moment by Historia in the King's Cave, and he thanks her for that. Both of them have killed one of their parents, and they've had an older sibling that loved them very much but had completely different ideologies. They are also both enemies of humanity. We've also seen Eren withhold information from the army because he believed the information would endanger Historia, and he actively tries to save her from the fate of having to continue the cycle of passing down royal-blooded titans to her offspring. Eren even states that Historia is the one person he is never willing to sacrifice, despite knowing that if he follows this path, people such as Floch, Hanj, Sasha, and more would be dead, as Eren realizes that he cannot change the path, he just has to keep moving forward. We have to think about why Historia is so important to him. Historia is the only character that he often smiles to, laughs, and shares feelings with. So logically speaking, if Historia decided to have a child, she would pick a man that she already had a bond with. Eren is the only one that she trusts, right? Alright, I need to calm down. But at this point of the video, you now understand why Historia may be pregnant. It could either be Eren's child, Ymir's reincarnation, or just a baby that Eren manipulated the situation for, where he requires Historia to become pregnant for his plan to succeed. But let's go even deeper. Let's go even further and beyond. Using all my balls deep prediction powers all at once. Let's do this. Stick around. The mystery per se surrounding Historia's pregnancy is not accidental. Attack on Titan chapter 138 is the perfect opportunity for Eren's perspective as to explaining his why he made the actions that he did. Chapter 137 ended with Eren's supposed defeat. The most current theories explore the idea of Eren reactivating the rumbling by touching Historia's newly born baby, as it will probably inherit the Beast Titan, considering that Zeke died without being eaten. If this turns out to be correct, then Isayama definitely had no other choice but to conceal the details of Historia's pregnancy from the narrative standpoint, because if the readers had known that Eren was the father from the very beginning, then they could have easily guessed that Eren might use the baby as some sort of backup plan. Another fantastic post that I would also like to mention is from Avocado Beach on Reddit. This guy made amazing analysis, and they point out the parallels between Eren and Historia's actions for freedom. Just as Historia freed Eren, he is doing the same for Ymir Fritz. Isayama loves doing these dualities between characters, which once again points towards Eren being involved in the pregnancy. So editors, please do a short compilation of the posts for the, the viewers' enjoyment. This is vital, as Eren is purely driven by his desire for freedom, as we all know. Freeing Ymir Fritz is the embodiment of his struggle, and the inspiration behind it was Historia. Here's an extra post on Tumblr that I would like to shout out, that brings to the fore a very intriguing point that interested me. Mikasa, for example, has trust in her friends, and Historia is the opposite, where she has trust in herself, which represents the toughest decision Eren has to make in his life. And whilst he initially leans towards the first, he ultimately chooses the second option. Now we are all on the same page, and we have established that Historia has impacted Eren's life tremendously as he did hers. As we know, Attack on Titan is also inspired from Norse mythology. There's an evident parallel to Odin and his wife Frigg. Odin is on a ceaseless quest for knowledge like Eren, and Frigg is associated with foresight and wisdom, like Historia, who is always there to provide Eren with access to knowledge, for instance even when he was doubting his existence as well as his father's deeds. Historia was there to enlighten him. Historia, both intentionally and unintentionally, aids Eren in his journey to freedom, so it's reasonable to presume that she appeals to his basic nature, which is something not many other characters do. With that said, there is also an argument that Eren is doing everything to protect his kid and Historia. This whole rumbling was not really for vengeance against humanity, rather it was a big brain move to build a future world for the next generation. Everyone who died had to die for this world. Eren is actually wanting this new world for this child, who in this theory is actually the one directing Eren in the process, because this ties into another theory that this baby is in fact the reincarnation of Ymir Fritz that I've mentioned throughout this video. The Ymir Fritz from the past also resembles Historia and Eren quite a bit, we have to admit it. So this new Ymir might even look exactly like Ymir from 2000 years ago. There are other reasons which we can cover regarding a time loop, but we can save that for another video. So if there is enough interest, we will definitely explain it for you. That's why it's so important for you to hit the notification bell for the channel and like the video to support us and show interest. So with the events that have unfolded so far, Ymir's ultimate objective is to actually live a normal life with a loving family in a peaceful world. Ymir grew up as a slave, and when she freed the pigs, it could be a symbolic meaning as her seeking a sense of freedom for herself. However, after being sentenced to death by hunting dogs, she luckily escaped this fate and was given the power of the Titans. We must keep in mind that Ymir still looks like a child in the past, just like when she first acquired the power, when we know for a fact that Ymir actually died as an adult. This highlights her desire. At the end of the day, Ymir wants true freedom just like Eren. With that goal in mind, she directed the rumbling through a vision of the future she sent to Eren via the Attack Titan path. All along, Eren could be doing this for his daughter. Even if he doesn't realize it yet, she does. Now, as I said, this is kind of convoluted and 90% of you are probably confused right now. So with all of that said and everything that we've mentioned in the video, some of you might argue Eren can't be fighting for his child because Eren had the resolution to destroy the world before Historia even got pregnant, along with the fact that whether or not she got pregnant, Eren would have decided to do it as that was his original intention. And it's also worth noting that it wasn't Eren who proposed the idea that Historia should get pregnant, rather it was Historia herself and her idea from the very start. Whilst all of those points are true, remember we mentioned that Eren was directed by Ymir's will. She gave him the visions he needed to see the path he needed to be set on. Ymir knows who the mother is, and she also knows Eren is her father. To create a new world with true peace, she inspired these outcomes. So in conclusion, for all we know, Eren could be dead at the end of the series. That's the unfortunate truth. So the point of this video is trying to explain why Eren is definitely involved in the pregnancy. So there are three options left. Eren is the father, Ymir is reincarnating, or the baby is just Historia's child that will be the first person with true freedom. Isayama, the creator of Attack on Titan, he can make all three options correct, mix and match two of them, or only one of these options will come true by the end of this series. Isayama stated that the ending of Attack on Titan will neither be happy or sad. Therefore, it will be an open-ended discussion to be debated to the end of time by fans on whether or not they like the ending or not, and also where they stand politically, morally, and emotionally with how the events unfolded. And that's what makes art, right? It's meant to provoke your feelings and what you're thinking, and that's what Isayama has created with Attack on Titan. So please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Make sure to also smash the like button and notification bell, as we will be covering Attack on Titan on a weekly basis. Thanks for joining me as always to go balls deep, and I'll see you guys next time.